Okay, so welcome to my video. I am Malaysia, and today we're going to be talking about femininity isn't a look, it's an energy. Looking at my iPad, but I just have all these notes, so I do want to keep myself on track because I will go where the wind blows. I will start talking about aliens by 3 minutes into this video if you let me, so I have to make sure that I stay on track. All right, so for my first talking point, what femininity actually means beyond aesthetics. So here's the thing, femininity, and we're going to just say in a nutshell, because there are very different archetypes of femininity. So you can even look it up. Some people are like the warrior, some people are like a queen, some people are like a nurturer. But overall, I do think that femininity is the encompassing of everything that you find necessarily in nature. Okay, you have nature that is going to be vengeful. There's nature that's going to be balancing. There's nature that is nourishing. There's nature that is there for, I think I said balancing before, but still there's all these encompassing factors. And I feel like femininity is directly connected to nature just in general. I know that might be a little bit more of a different take, but I am more on the spiritual side of things, just to let you know, because a lot of people are very stringent on being a nurturer, being a caregiver, and what that means. Okay, so for me, and I put this as a preface, always been a tomboy, very sportsy growing up, loved it, did all the things. I was not ever necessarily into things like dresses and staying inside and like not crammed up, because it's nice to stay inside, do like your nice bath times, bath bombs. I always like that even as like a girl, but I was always challenged with, oh, what do you think this is? Or, oh, you need to be more girly. You need to be more girly, but I am a girl. You can't challenge me on who I am. I exist. This is me. So there's a lot of premises in it, and you can't tell me that I'm not doing something that I'm doing just by expressing myself and living in my truth, honestly. So there's that. Please like and subscribe. And feel free to visit my website for all other information about me. I have a storefront of everything that I have with me with my travels. Link is in the description. Please like. Hello, I'm Malaysia, and welcome to my channel. So this is going to be an entire series that I'm going to be making far as my color analysis. I will be talking about the mental, spiritual, emotional aspects of what I went through with my color analysis, because at first I thought it was going to be more of a let me see what colors work for me, what works for my body type. And a lot of revelation happened before, during, and after the entire color analysis process, where I'm like, this is something that I need to talk about, because there's certain things that obviously I didn't think about, that I didn't realize, you don't know what you don't know type of thing. And I also wanted to put some questions out there for you to ponder for yourself. And I'm just doing a lot of this out of not just self-revelation that I have for myself, because I could just keep it to myself, but I feel like there's things that I thought about and that I realized about myself, that I analyzed about myself and deconstructed about myself that weren't necessarily bad, but it was a hindrance of me getting to know myself and me understanding myself and fully ingraining myself in who I am as a person and as an individual, because there's so many layers that we could add on to that will make you a woman, particularly a Black woman, and for me, a Black American woman. There's a lot of nuances. So I was like, let me take this down a couple of notches. And even for me, grew up my entire life tomboy, very country, from Georgia, the state, and always, just a preference, natural hair, didn't do makeup all through high school, middle school, nails, none of that. The only time I ever did like an updo or look, I'll say grown, even back then, was me getting my nails done. And actually my nails were very similar to this, like this neon like green color, but it was like a French tip, but I digress. But very tomboyish, did sports all of my adolescence, went to the military, all of the things. So when I'm talking about femininity, it is not just a nuance of what per se, okay? This is also internally in how women, not just myself, but how you feel about yourself. What energy are you putting out? But most important, what energy are you putting into yourself? What do you see when you look at the mirror and things of that nature? So that's pretty much in a nutshell what this whole series is going to be about. I'm going to talk about things from the rooter to the tutor. I am going to talk about the color analysis, the process, all the things where I got it from. Just bear with me. I can become long-winded, but I am, now that I'm growing and I'm developing, I am becoming more and more fascinated with the psychology of looks and how you feel about yourself when you style, all the things, you know. So just to say that, and thank you for watching. And if you haven't already, like, subscribe, and if you have any questions after this video, please put them in the comments, okay? So another thing I wanted to talk about is sexy versus confident versus visual. So this is another thing that I've noticed, and it's the perception of being sexy, and then also perceived as sexy. Are you thinking of yourself as being confident, essentially? And then the invisible. There's a lot of nuances between what femininity is and what is sexy, what is confident, and what is visible. So for me, I feel like I'm more on the visible side because I not necessarily am an extrovert. I talk to people, you make eye contact, I say, hey, this is just the Southern in me, but I don't outwardly project that. And a lot of times I do want to be in my space, and with that I do have my confidence. I have my confidence and I want to be in my space. I want to be at peace. I don't want anything to come in and disrupt my peace. At the same time, some people, especially me being in my mid-30s, there is also certain allures, for example, where you have different types of sexy, I would say. Some people think that just being natural, existing, some people just love the essence of a woman. Some people just love the essence of, oh, she's just so just glowy and natural, and she's just there, just feminine and all this other stuff. And I say this as a woman, and I don't necessarily want to put men into it necessarily, because this is also mostly a reflection on myself, self-esteem, meaning how I feel about myself, and I'm trying to put it in a way for other women to potentially think about certain things or even challenge yourselves where you feel like you need to challenge yourself. And there's so many nuances. There's no one way of being sexy. There's no one way of being confident, because what's for you is what's for you. And I get tired of hearing people talk about the scantily clad and blah blah blah. Like, I don't really care, to be honest. I don't. For me, I dress a certain way and I care about like germs and stuff, or other people sat there, or just, it's just like more of a hygiene type of thing for me when it comes to how I dress in particular, but it's also what feels right for me and what feels comfortable for me. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, this is what you should or should not be doing. That's bullshit. I'm not worried about it, because my self-esteem is about me and how I feel about myself. Okay, so that's just that on that point, because I've been seeing it a lot lately on social media. My algorithm is doing something and I'm like, I don't care. Okay, I don't care. In this section, pretty much talking about internal identity versus perception. Now, this is the part where you think you know how people see you or perceive you, but do you really? Like the basis of what you look like and what your face looks like. So there's certain just demographics. There's cute, there's cool, and there's like other just broader terms of how people see you and perceive you. And apparently I was the cool aesthetic, like cool person, shades on, cool. And because of my overall like bone structure, because she was telling me like my body type, more athletic, more lean, but then also like my features, my nose, my lips, like just how I present overall. So I just didn't know. And I'm like, I'm perceived as being black and a woman at the end of the day. And I never thought about, am I cute? I knew I wasn't sexy, and in the traditional sense of sexy, like far as me, I'm from Georgia. All my people's from Georgia. So everybody knows like the typical, like what is sexy. But I'm like, but there's different types of sexy. Like you have a Sierra sexy, you got the Tiana Taylor sexy, you have the Beyonce sexy, you have the Rihanna sexy, you have all these different types of sexy and beautiful, and these women have different archetypes overall. So that's something that I feel like women need to understand. But for me, I never really thought about it that deeply before. The way that I was thinking about how I was being perceived, especially growing up, is, oh, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. But to be like, oh, how you're perceiving me and looking at my face is, oh, are you cute or are you not cute? Not cute like that, but like cutesy, like a child cutesy, versus seeming more edgy, or you seem more cool, or you seem more whimsical, essentially. You know what I'm saying? So it's also perception. And I was like, my perception of being perceived was always negative. And instead of me understanding that perception is just perception, and if someone perceives me negatively, that's not my problem. It's just something to think about. Something to think about. And for the last session of this video, section. Which word should I use? Session or section? Anyway, because it's almost like I'm like a psychologist, but like for myself, and you guys are like here, and you can be like, yeah, I get that, girl. Yeah, it resonates with me. Or are you like, let me think about it, let me know. But anyway, back to it. That's why I have an iPad. But why style work starts internally. And this is very important, because I also noticed over just a span of, I would say at least a little bit before COVID, after COVID, but even before that, the whole archetype of this is what you want to do, in these trends of like completely changing your looks, the way you talk, your mindset to reach a certain aesthetic. There's no way that you're doing that and internalizing that and trying to say that you have self-awareness, because you know yourself, and yourself is not always going to line with an aesthetic, somebody else's aesthetic. Like I said, mental, emotionally, when you take on like talking points, when you take on, and this is just anything, you take on talking points, you take on preferences, you take on all types of people. Aren't the same. People aren't the same, and that's okay. And when I say all of that, when I'm bringing it back to when you're talking about style work and internally, what that is, you being different from someone else, your style, no matter how much you might have in common with an aesthetic or another person, group, whatever, there is going to be something about you in particular that's going to be a little bit different. You are going to like, even if you and all your friends like pink, you might like hot pink, and they might like light pink. Someone might like light pink with glitter. That is their favorite. That is their, some people like, I like colors, but I don't like solid colors. I like ombre. I like an ombre of pink. It really resonates with me, okay? So there's differences, no matter how small they are, and that's okay. And to know yourself and to recognize what you like, because I'll tell you this, used to work interior designer at architecture firms, at other places, all the things. That personality type where you be like, what do you like? And they can never tell you what they like. They can only tell you what they like by what they don't like. Don't do that. Don't do that. You don't know what you like. That means you probably don't invest in yourself. You don't necessarily probably care about yourself. I'm just saying, because just a slight story, how you gonna try to spend $80,000 on a kitchen and you don't know what you want? You want to spend $80,000. I'm just saying. And I feel like once you're running after something and you don't know what you want and what's going to really make you happy, and you're chasing after what is really making somebody else happy, or what you think is making somebody else happy, or the attention that other people are getting, you're running and trying to buy or pursue somebody else's validation, and that's not cute. Okay, yeah, so I think that's something to think about. Let me know in the comments if you have any type of similar stories. Have you caught yourself doing something like that? Have you seen somebody doing something like that? Let me know. And also, subscribe to my channel, and I will be giving you guys way more videos just like this. Okay, see y'all later.